I'm going to show you how to work out when you can afford to retire and how to control the retirement income you're likely to have. I'm Mark Hester from The Money Matrix Wealth Coaching. I'm often asked these questions. When can I retire? And how much money will I have in retirement? I always answer with my own questions, like, well, when do you want to or have to retire? How much longer can you work for? What's your likely life expectancy? How much annual income will you need for retirement? What are the likely growth rates of your assets and price inflation? And how much, if anything, do you want to leave in your estate? And the usual reply is, I've got absolutely no idea. And that's fair enough, because for most of us, the subject of retirement is fraught with uncertainty, worry, and apprehension. And that's because we usually only start thinking about it in our 40s and 50s as the reality of it begins to appear. It involves planning for the future, which can cause fear and anxiety. We have to rely on passive income, our savings and investments, or the government for income, rather than working for an employer or a business. It also represents the final chapter in our lives, and this can be confronting. It can force us to make decisions about how much we can or want to leave in our will. So there is no single answer to the question of when can I afford to retire? It's a bit like the old how long is a piece of string question. So the solution is to strike a balance between the natural tension of all of these competing elements and identify what factors you want to trade off against each other. So let's take some simple examples using these factors to prove the point.
This example shows the trade-off between the age at which you retire and your retirement income. The longer you work for means the shorter your retirement and the more income you can have in retirement. This illustrates the trade-off between the return on assets you're able to generate and your retirement income. Of course, the greater the return, the higher your possible income. And this shows the trade-off between your retirement income and the value of the estate you're able to leave to your beneficiaries. The more you spend in retirement, the smaller your estate will be.
For a simple answer to the question, when can I afford to retire? The Association of Superannuation Funds of Australia has calculated that you'll need, well, for a couple, it's $640,000, and for a single person, $545,000. The key parameters for defining this are, it should pay for what's described as a comfortable lifestyle. Your investments will earn 6% per annum. You own your own home outright. You're in relatively good health. You'll exhaust your capital by the time you die, and you'll access a part age pension. But like all one-size-fits-all answers, it's only a very rough guide. Everyone, of course, has unique circumstances, and this number may or may not be either appropriate or relevant to you. To get a more personalised answer to the question of when can I afford to retire, there are many online calculators that you can access for free. You just input some key data for yourself and, if applicable, your partner, such as your current age, your desired retirement age, your current income and desired retirement income, your superannuation balances, and any non-superannuation assets you may have. Most of them will then calculate an estimate of the annual income that you will receive up to a certain age, usually about 90 or so, which is comprised of superannuation, non-superannuation income, and if applicable, the age pension. Some useful examples are ASIC's Money Smart website, the Commonwealth Banks, and Australian Supers. These calculators will help provide a more precise answer, but still lack the finer detail relating to your own specific situation. So how can you start to work out the answer that makes sense for you and your particular needs and objectives? Well, you first need to start formulating responses to these questions. What's your preferred retirement age? What's your likely life expectancy? How much will your annual expenses be? What's the expected growth rate of your retirement assets? What's the expected yield of your retirement assets? What's the expected rate of inflation of your expenses? How much do you want to leave in your estate? How much, if anything, do you expect to inherit? Do you either expect to or want to receive an age pension? And would you consider selling your residential property to fund your retirement? Knowing answers to these questions, even at a rough estimate, will help to solidify the magic number that you will need to fund your desired retirement. You can email us for a free template that helps you capture the relevant information. You can then input this information into our retirement calculator. It captures your key financial information and projects it forward year by year using assumed growth rates. It's more detailed than the online calculators, and it allows you to model your retirement plans in a much more precise way. Using the results from the model's projections, you can then create an action plan that'll respond to these questions. How much do I need to set aside between now and my retirement? How quickly do I need to reduce my debt? When should I factor in, if at all, receiving an age pension? What rate of return on my assets do I need? What yield on my assets do I need? How much of my capital will I need to draw down on? How should I split my assets both inside and outside superannuation? And how can I manage my assets to best meet the desired value of my estate? And when those issues have been successfully resolved, you'll have your own answer to that all-important question: when can I finally afford to retire?